Alrighty. Hello and welcome to NFR Radio's weekly news recap show. What's up?
What is up? Not much to
What
talk
is-
about. Let's just go ahead and end it there and call it back.
Yeah, show's over, guys. Nothing to talk about. Nothing happened last night at like 7, 8 o'clock at night, I think.
Something like that. I don't even know. I was asleep.
So obviously this okay. So if you're a 49ers fan, unless you've been living under a rock, or don't follow super closely, last night, 49ers traded for running back Christian McCaffrey from the Carolina Panthers. We traded, according to Adam Schefter on his Twitter, we gave up a second, a third, and a fourth round pick this year in the 2023 NFL draft, and a fifth round pick in the 2024 NFL draft to the Panthers for running back Christian McCaffrey. So this is going to be the majority of our show tonight, guys. So I hope you're ready to talk about this. Yeah. Jason, you want to share how you found out the news? I think yours is a little bit funny.
I woke up at my 3 o'clock time to my usual alarm going off. Just happened to look down, and I'm instantly thinking, who died? Why do I have so many messages coming in that all came in last night? I think it broke at about 8 o'clock, roughly.
Let me see. I think it's find out.
And so, anyways, I'm sitting there. I'm still half asleep. I'm like, huh? Oh shit! We traded for Christian McCaffrey. And my wife, who is a cheese, looks over and she's like, fuck, you guys really are going to beat us in the playoffs this year.
Yeah, it broke around 8:30 last night. Right around there, so 8:30.
Yeah.
Pacific Standard Time. So, yeah. This is interesting to me. I think it's a very interesting move. I know there has been rumors swirling about him possibly being traded to us and us grabbing him. Part of me, with just how this regime has been with trades and stuff, I didn't know if they would do it, just because I thought it would be they would have to give up a first round pick to get McCaffrey.
I had heard it was like multiple first rounds too. Like you're not getting too. It was almost as bad as the Jimmy trade stuff. Like they wanted that kind of that's the kind of rumors that were out there.
Yeah, so I just thought that the price that Carolina wanted was going to be too high for us to pay, because I know there's I think it's McCaffrey's dad played under Kyle Shanahan's dad.
Mm-hmm.
Mike Shanahan was Christian McCaffrey's dad's coach when he was in the league and stuff. So there's
the
this
two
little
families
bit of
run deep.
Yeah, so there's that connection, and that's why those rumors were kind of swirling, because there's obviously some history with the families there and whatnot. So yeah, but we ended up getting him. Didn't give up a first. We did give up a little bit of draft capital, but I don't think it's too terribly bad. To be honest with you,
we're fine.
We have George Kittle, Deebo Samuel, Brandon Ayuk, and now Christian McCaffrey on this team. There's no excuse now that this team can't score points on offense.
Nope, there is not. We have an embarrassment of riches right now.
It's a little bit insane. Like if we're struggling to score points, there's something wrong because one of these guys, there's no way any defense is going to be able to cover all of these guys. Like
I'm
at all.
salivating over the fact that we could put like both Debo and CMC in the thing about though, you run it wide open. You put one of them in motion. Jimmy reads off, whoever goes in motion first. You put the other one in motion in the opposite direction, or hell, put them both on the same side. And now, Jimmy has another read off there. You find the worst mismatch, and you go there basically. I mean, it's almost idiot proof to an extent because we're going to be causing so many mismatches. Just overall, like Kyle is honestly one of the best when it comes to creating these mismatches. AKA, look at what's up with Debo. And now you add in a player that's just as versatile. Hell, he could start out at a slot receiver or out wide in general. Like, it's nuts thinking what we could do with him.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that we could have him and Debo in the backfield and defenses are going to have to choose who to follow, basically. They're going to have to just go with their gut instinct is like a little bit insane. And then you just can have Kittle and Ayuk running routes
out. And we're not talking about Juice, Jennings, you know what
Juice,
I mean?
And we have Juice, too. So it's like...
It's a nice problem to have, though.
I know it's a very nice problem to have. I'm actually pretty excited. I've always liked McCaffrey. We are gonna have to talk about his injury history, and stuff like that. I know he's been injured a lot. I haven't looked about exactly how much he's been injured, to be honest, like how many games he's actually missed and played. Like I haven't looked at that too much.
What would you like to know?
Is it has he missed that many games where you think it's a problem? Or is it more skewed because he had like one big injury and he missed like a season?
Well, let me ask you this. How do you feel about Kittle's injuries and his amount of time lost?
I mean, I'd rather have Kittle than not have Kittle.
Well, not necessarily that, but I mean, are you upset with the amount of time Kittle has missed during his career? Okay, well, you're looking at exactly the same amount of time, 85%.
Okay.
He has been available for 85% of games for the Panthers, which is exactly the same as George Kittle. So if you're okay with how Kittle has been handled and his injuries and stuff like that, it's exactly the same coming out of McCaffrey. And for these last how many years, McCaffrey has gotten the ball, 20 to 30 times a game, being the only offensive weapon. We're not going to ask him to do that here. He's only going to get maybe 10 a game unless for some reason he's really hot. So he's not going to take the beating he did in Carolina. We have
that is true.
So I'm not as worried about him getting injured repeatedly. So even though, yes, he does have some sort of injury issues, kind of a thing, but if he's going to be used as just a decoy 50% of the time, we're just lowering the chance of him getting injured. So one would hope it shouldn't be an issue overall. Plus, he's not going to be playing on turf every other week. Now that he's going to be over here playing on our side, on our field with grass and everything. So that is an actual upgrade for him. Not being on turf.
Yeah. And I just think he fits. If he's like Kittle, and I think McCaffrey is extremely talented, and I am if he's missing the same amount of time as Kittle, I can deal with that. I can handle that. I'm pretty excited. I think he fits his offense very well. I think Kyle's going to be able to use him extremely well and put him in all these different mismatch situations and whatever. And you brought up a good point with he's not going to have to be like the workhorse back. He's not going to have to take that beating as much because we have other players that can help, that can put out that load, for him. Because he was basically Carolina's offense for a lot of it. So he was doing a lot. He's not going to have to do nearly as much, and um, yeah, I think it's gonna be good.
I think Jameson over here has the correct thing that I've been talking to a lot of people about today, and I think I've said it multiple times. Right now, Jimmy drives a Ferrari with his
Hmm.
offensive weapons around him. All he has to do, because what's Jimmy do best? He throws those short slants,
Hmm.
screens, all those kind of things. Jimmy doesn't have an deep ball for the most part, but what he excels at is those quick throws underneath.
Hmm.
McCaffrey fits that perfectly, and it fits into what Kyle likes to run. And again, Jimmy just doesn't have to fuck it up for the most part.
Hmm.
If Jimmy can't run this offense now with him, it's going to show you that he's just not it. And like I said, I'm not here to I'm not the biggest Jimmy fan or the biggest hater, but excuse me, this offense right now is being tailored to what Jimmy is best at.
Hmm.
So
I agree. I agree. Jimmy just has to just be able, and I think he can. I think Jimmy is a decent. He can run the offense. He just has to do what he has to do. Um,
no more
I don't know.
medicine balls. I mean, you're always going to get medicine balls because I mean, the way Jimmy plays, he tries to put them. At least he tries to throw them in places to where he lets his players make plays.
Hmm.
And sometimes he does have to throw those high balls. He does throw them into really tight windows. Sometimes
Hmm.
he makes them, sometimes he doesn't. But like you said, this is tailored to what he does best right now.
Hmm.
So there's should be no excuse as to him having an issue.
I agree. I agree. All right, let's get into some. So we have some clips here. We got a couple. I believe the first few are going to be from um, Kyle's. Kyle was on KMBR. Did an interview, so I know we have some here. Yeah, yeah.
True. There's 100%
Can't
true
say it
right
any
there,
better
bro.
than that.
Yeah.
Okay, so here's the first clip. Shanahan on how the trade for Christian McCaffrey came about. So here we go.
Well, I mean, everyone we hear the same thing that everyone else does. What players are kind of available in the trade market, and it starts to pick up. You start to hear rumblings, a couple weeks before it happens. So probably about 10 days ago. So we always floated around to each other, but you never get too. You never do like what. I mean, anytime like my wife or someone hears like this guy's available, she's gonna get real excited, like, "Hey, are we getting him?" And so it's like there's usually a 2% chance. So when you hear those types of things, you never get too like set on that track, but you kind of just float it around for a few days,
What
for a
up,
few
Damien?
weeks, and you see if it heats up. And the more realistic the chances get, the more we talk about it. And I think in the last couple of days, it started to seem like we always knew it made sense for us, but you got to see how you're going to get there, who you're competing with, and things like that. And in the last couple of days, we kind of saw that we had a chance to compete for them, and it turned up here. And I wish I could say that I was doing anything, but I'm not doing anything. So this isn't me. I'm sitting here coaching this team, getting ready for the Chiefs, and John's been working the phones, dealing with Carolina here for the last 48 hours, and keeps telling me we got a chance. It's getting close, and I'm sitting down here last night just finishing up red zone and stuff, and right towards the end, I find out that we got it done, and I'm pretty excited, to tell you the truth. I mean, everyone, we hear this.
Alrighty. Well, that was a very standard Shanahan answer. Um, I feel like with a lot of trades, Shanahan says basically the same thing. They always pay attention to what's going on, and they start talking more the more realistic it appears to be. And it looks like they were just able to work it out, and Lynch was able to talk to Carolina. They came up with a trade, and he seems pretty excited about it. So I'm excited for it too.
My favorite part about that clip is that his wife goes through the exact same thing that we do. Every time there's like a trade rumor, hey, are we going to get him? Hey, are we going to get this guy? Hey, I think it's awesome that his wife is basically doing the same exact thing that all of us do. It's like, is this guy available? We're going to get him. We're going to get him. It's
Yeah.
like, could there be something in the works that like she leaks out? That'd be hilarious. Like, say we're making a bigger trade for somebody and it gets leaked and it comes out that the leaker is Kyle's wife. That would be some of the funniest shit of all time.
That would be so funny. That would be hilarious.
Context.
Oh. Oh,
Yeah.
damn.
Yeah.
Kyle
is damn good at that.
Yeah. Alrighty. Here is a clip.
Before you jump on the next one, when he was talking about, I watched the Rams and the Panthers game.
Mm-hmm.
And if you watch that game, and now that I think about it, that game was nothing more than a preview for every other team in the league. Like, hey, we're getting rid of this guy. This is what he could do. Because it was a very heavy Christian McCaffrey game, especially in the first half. And it was basically, it's like, hey, you want him? Come get him. And now that looking back and watching that game, I'm like, yeah, that was the whole point of that first half, was to show everybody what he could do.
Yeah. Yeah. For sure. All right. Next clip is Shanahan on Christian McCaffrey's injury history.
I mean, it is like everything, and I know that's a concern, but I have an injury concern about every single player on our team, and it happens, and that's really the riskiest part of our sport. If I always thought with every player, I think I'd be frozen and never be able to make a decision. So that is the toughest thing about our deal, and that's why you never can get too high or too low, whatever your team situation is, whatever you think your team is. That's changing every single day, and you got to be able to adjust to that. And that's why it's great to get Christian here, who I know can help us out a ton in the run game. I think he can help us out a ton in the pass game. I think he's going to be great in protections. But I also know we better have some other really good backs too, because this is football and this stuff happens. And I see the same at tight end, receiver. You don't like to see it that way at quarterback, but you look at our 6 years here, and it's been that way at quarterback for us every year except for one. So injuries are going to happen. That's why we got to have depth. But I know when you look at a player like Christian, medically coming out of college, we had the highest medical grade on him of any player we've ever got since we've been here. He never had injuries. He was the cleanest guy that we could have. I know he's started that way for 2 years in the NFL. I know these last 2 years or the first 3 years, I believe. I know these last 2 years haven't been the same. But watching him this year, he's back to his full health. Looks like the same guy as coming out of college. And I know we got a tough guy who handles it right, who takes care of his body as good as anyone can. I put him on that Bosa type level, and just that he's been kind of the way he was raised, the way he's looked at everything. I mean, it's just 100% commitment to being the best he can be at what he does, and he's been doing that since he was probably 3 years old. Yeah, I have. I mean, it is like every.
Okay, that was a long clip, but yeah, that was actually a very good clip. I do think Shanahan's mindset of not being too high and not being too low on player injuries is probably definitely a good thing. I mean, it's kind of like, I wish he, I don't know. I feel like it is a good thing and a bad thing, because I feel like that way he doesn't overreact too much to injuries and stuff. I do think, you gotta have depth, and so honestly, the team has done a pretty good job of having a good backups and depth pieces for our team in case we do have injuries. But yeah, he said Christian McCaffrey, when he was coming out of the draft, he had the best medical grade of any player they've looked at. So injuries happen, guys. I think can happen to anybody, any player.
Yeah. When it comes to stuff with injuries, I think that this next draft, because we're not going to have a lot of high-end drafts, capital obviously, but what we are going to have is we're going to have a ton of middle round draft picks. And I think if you take simply the starters on this team, we are probably easily within the top, 7, 8 in the league. If you went across the board with talent across, just the starters. Now, it starts falling off and with the second, third, fourth stringers, but it's a very solid unit in general. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to be keeping a lot of the starters and our quote unquote elite talent, but we're going to backfill the rest of the roster even better than it already. Even when it comes to just the top down talent on this roster, it probably moves from easily into the top 4 or 5 when it comes to overall talent. So I think when it comes to injuries, all that kind of stuff, we start bringing up the bottom of the roster up to, closer to the starters. And then, say a Nick Bosa gets hurt, Trent Williams, any of these guys get hurt, the drop-off isn't as significant. One of the things with Jaymie, I left this comment up, we do actually have a damn good backup center in Daniel Brunskill. It is arguable whether or not he could be starting over Brendel right now. I kind of had hoped he would be the end of being the starter once it was obvious we were going for Banks and Buford at guards. I think Brunskill's knowledge and overall being, playing center before would have been better. And when it comes to a backup quarterback, I think a lot of people are sleeping on Brock Purdy. I ended up watching a lot of him. My wife is from Iowa, so we watch a lot of the Iowa and Iowa State games and stuff like that. He is a 4-year starter at Iowa State. Big time pressure. It's not going to rattle him. He's played in big games throughout his career. And I'm not saying he's going to go out there and win a Super Bowl next week or anything like that. But I think as far as being a serviceable backup, even a low-end tiered starter in the NFL, I think he is actual. He's got talent for that. The only reason why he was not a first-round draft pick is because he's only 6 foot. He's 6'2", 6'3", 6'4", kind of, the more prototypical style or a height for your quarterback. He is a top, probably a top 15 pick in general. That's the only reason why he didn't go any higher than what he did. To be honest, I'm really surprised he fell down all the way back down to Mr. Relevant. So there's that one. Let's see. And Damian, yeah, I mean, that's just Kyle. Kyle's always been that.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see, Jameson, I'd say like top 3 or 5. Yeah, when it comes to the roster depth and overall, definitely.
Mm-hmm.
Do you think Caff will be used as a wide receiver like Debo? He's going to be just like Debo. He's an offensive weapon. Yes, just like Debo, his designation is a wide receiver, McCaffrey's designation is going to be running back. But he's just as comfortable lining up in the slot, and even all the way outside. Hell, he's even thrown touchdowns. So he's got an arm on him per se. Double reverse, throw it. Debo gives it to him. Debo goes deep. McCaffrey throws it to him. You can already see it. So like I said, he's definitely an offensive weapon. He just gets designated as a wide receiver. So versatility is going to be the way this team wins.
Guys, we basically have 2 Debos now. Just let that sink in. We have 2 Debos now.
And again, like with both of them, both of those guys will not be the focus. I think that is the best part of what it is. You're only going to be using them 50% of the time, actually as the actual person who gets the ball. The other 50%, they're just going to be the decoy, and that's going to work just as good. We're going to we're going to put them both in the backfield. We're going to swing, Debo out left, McCaffrey out right, and then we're going to throw a screen to Kittle down the middle.
Mm-hmm.
That's the kind of stuff that we're going to be able to get with these guys. So
it's going to be fun. It's going to be fun.
Yeah. This should be an offense that should be very fun to watch overall.
Yeah. All right, ready for the next clip?
Let's roll.
All right. Shanahan on giving basically more on the draft capital and what we gave up and stuff like that.
Yeah, I look at it as a second round, a third round, and a fourth round pick. You look at the history of those, no matter really any team, whether it's our history or whether it's any other team's history, and the chances that each one of those picks becoming a player that you won a second contract for, or a player who has a chance to be a Pro Bowl player, I'm just throwing it out there, but I'm guessing less than 25%, at least. And so you look at all those, and you can spend 3 picks in the second, third, and fourth. You even look into top 10 picks over the history, and it's less than 50%. So you have all these things that, they're great commodities. It's great to have these draft picks and stuff. That's how you build your team. That's how we build our team here, is through the draft. But when you have a guaranteed guy, and you don't have to worry about taking 3 picks, hoping that one of them can come the shot. You just go get that guy. That's something that I feel you never look back on. It's rare that you can get those opportunities, and yeah, there's injuries and stuff that go into it, but that's the same as draft picks too. When you draft, we've drafted some really good players here who end up having some bad luck with injuries. So I look at it all the same, but what I do know is we know what he can do, and we know how good of a player he is at the NFL level. So there's no risk there, and I'll take that any day. Yeah, I look at it as a second.
Yeah.
That needs to be a shirt. That's fucking awesome. I love that.
That is actually pretty funny.
That's great.
So basically, I think Kyle basically talking about how when we take some, like, yeah, it's kind of stinks that we gave up that draft capital, but we're getting more of a guaranteed guy with McCaffrey because he's proven he can have success in the league and play well and at a high level. And so that's why he is comfortable giving up those picks. And yeah, those picks are important when you're building the team. But I think we're at a point now where like the majority, like a good set of our roster is good. And we hit better in the later rounds anyway, like in those 3 through 5 rounds. So like,
yeah,
that's where we found a lot of our George Kittles and stuff like that. Found them in those later rounds.
So I put those ones up for Jameson. Jameson, I'm going to tell you what I posted this morning at 6:00. The Niners now have a wide back, tight receiver, running quarterback, full end, and a tight tackle. So you're definitely on the same wavelength as me. Let's see, Damien Constance Ramble, he just listens to his voice. Yeah, I don't know about necessarily nervous. I mean, I know I do the same thing. I get excited and I start rambling. Could also be the alcohol. This week I brought out the good stuff.
Ooh, nice.
What is up, Berto? How you doing, brother? Bang bang.
Hello. Are you ready for the next clip?
Let's do it.
Still got a few more to go. Here's John Lynch on Christian McCaffrey.
I believe, like a lot of really good players, he's a lot more than just a running back. And I think he's a perfect player for the way Kyle and our offensive staff does things. I think he brings a lot more than just running back skills. He's an incredibly accomplished receiver. He's got tremendous feel. He can play with speed. He can play with power. He can play with quickness. He can do it all. And we've seen that firsthand playing against him. You've seen it right up to the last game he played. He's an excellent football player. There's no denying that, and we like adding guys like that to the mix. I believe, like a lot of really good players, he's a lot.
All right, it's John Lynch, and yeah, I mean, nothing that we haven't said or other people have said. And stuff like that.
Jameson, no, I'm actually right outside of Seattle. I do not live in California. Jamie's, I forget exactly where you live in Cali.
I live in Central California. So about 2.5 hours away from the Bay. 2.5, 3 hours, roughly.
Damien's over there sipping on some JD.
Nice. I'm ready here.
The 90s Kelly Bunny. Yeah, I'm not a big fan of Jack Daniel in general. So what's the next one?
Next one, I think Lynch on if this was about, I'm guessing Christian McCaffrey not going somewhere else. Let's just listen to it.
I'm glad he's not there. And, that's always an interesting question because I always say, hey, guys, it's about us. That's how I was raised. That's the way Tony Dungy talked. It's about us. If you're so focused on your opponents, you're not going to do very well. But I also know the fastest way to success in our league is winning your division. And so in part, it seems like a lot of these situations end up where it's us against them in these things. And I'm sure glad he's here and not there. I'm glad he's not there. That's always.
So I believe, was there rumors that the Rams were going to try to get him? I believe.
Yeah, it was, from what I understand, it was basically who was going to give up more between us and the Rams. And kind of like that's the way I understand it. Nothing's going to be confirmed on that one for the most part, but it came down to us and the Rams. Thank God the Rams didn't get him.
Jeez.
Because the Rams are probably going to lose Akers too for the rest of the season. So they definitely need somebody besides Henderson in that backfield.
Yeah, for sure.
Let's see.
For sure.
We got that one. Do you guys still think we'll use McCaffrey more than Juice? Probably.
Yeah.
Not to say that we won't use Juice. I just think Juice is probably going to go down a peg when it comes to that kind of stuff. Or people are going to be so focused on covering McCaffrey, Debo, Ayuk, Kittle, Jennings, that they're going to, oh, yeah, by the way, the guy that just rolled out the backfield that caught a 40-yard pass is going to be Juice. So I think that's where majority of Juice is going to come pick up his stuff, is going to be like, oh, shit, we forgot about this one guy who I'm not sure how we forgot about him because he's a damn good player. You're in Nebraska? Hey, man, that's quite a ways away. I've never actually been there.
Cute. Yeah. And I believe we have 2 clips from McCaffrey, because I'm assuming he did a presser this morning because I believe he flew in today. So let's see. Let's listen to this.
Well, I've obviously watched them for a long time. In my opinion, the best run game and one of the most explosive offenses in the league. And I think you just go down the roster and you look at all the guys. I think that's the thing I'm most excited about, just getting in the locker room, getting to meet the guys. But how could you not want to play here, as an offensive weapon? I'm extremely fired up. Obviously, I have a little bit of a history with Coach Shanahan, and can't express how happy I am to be here. Well,
Alrighty. Well, that was McCaffrey. He seems pretty excited. I think, he just seems fired up to be in the offense. I think he's like you said, we have one of the most explosives and one of the better run games in the league. So I think he's just going to fit right in.
I think he's going to be glad he's not going to be the center of attention on every defense's, board every week. I mean, it's got to be nice. Even when he had Cam Newton there, it's like, okay, if we can at least shut down, CMC, we're good. We'll take our chances with what he can do. Took me a second to realize that was McCaffrey, and their family dynamic with the McCaffreys and the Shanahans is just it's like generations deep. Mike Shanahan, obviously college dad, Coach Ed to a Super Bowl, coaching for many years. Kyle Shanahan actually, when he was at Texas, actually wore Ed McCaffrey's number because he liked him so much. So that's obviously Christian's dad, and then Kyle Shanahan babysat Christian McCaffrey, even though he kind of said that it was his sister that did the babysitting and he got paid for it. But I mean, so it's just kind of weird, that family dynamic. Then it even goes deeper because I think both Lynch and McCaffrey were both at Stanford at the same time. Also going on at the same time. Now we've got Harvard and Stanford in the backfield between Juice and
That's so smart.
And CMC. Yeah, it's like we got is that arguably the smartest running back duo in the league?
Got to be up there if it's not the smartest. It's got to be up there.
So at the very least, when it comes to quote unquote smart schools, that's kind of interesting.
That's funny.
Yeah, like I said, just some of the interpersonal stuff is pretty cool. Let's see, Teresa, we haven't even used Juice that much. No, but Juice is always available. But he shows up in big, it's just like all of a sudden we won't see him for 2 games. Then he has a game where he catches, a 40-yard pass or, breaks a long run. So, yeah, but Juice is not there to be a focal point of this offense. Juice is there to help facilitate other guys. So,
Juice
he's
is
never
one
going
of those,
go ahead.
Juice is one of those players that, he can, fade in the background and do a lot of, probably helps a lot with blocking and doing a lot of that kind of stuff. But then he's also the kind of player that can go up and make big plays when he needs to, but he doesn't always have to. So
he's almost like Kittle when it comes to that. Kittle doesn't care. I honestly, and Kittle said it many times, he would rather block somebody into the touchdown like he did against the Falcons, was it in 2019, where he pancaked the guy, and I forget who it was that came in behind him, and he was just laughing. And I honestly think he really does have more fun pancaking somebody than actually scoring a touchdown. And Juice has the same mentality. Let's see what else we got. We think about number 23. Jeff Wilson should have given up 22. I don't get into the whole jersey thing. I mean, I actually lived in Japan.
If cool, then it's not that big of a deal, I guess.
I mean, I actually only played when I moved here. My dad retired from the Air Force. I actually lived in Japan for 10 years. And when I moved here as a senior. Somebody else already had my number at 75. So 78 was a bit like, to me, I never wore the same number for years and years and years. So I didn't have an emotional attachment. So I don't get the emotional attachment. Say McCaffrey has had, 7-8 years being without a doubt the best back in the NFL. Then you may be getting into something, but I don't get the whole emotional attachment, but I do like it when guys will do that. And they're like, hey, let me have that number and I'll donate 10 grand to your charity of your choice. That I think is cool, but I don't really care about numbers or, but that's a personal thing, I would guess, for each person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, yeah, I think it is cool when guys can kind of figure out a way where, like, the guy who asked for the number can get the number and then they donate to charity. I think that's always a nice little touch.
Yeah.
All right. Here's Christian McCaffrey being compared to Debo. If my computer would work. There we go.
Yeah, that's an honor to be compared to him, so I'm happy to share the locker room with him, and I think we can do some exciting things. Yeah, that's an honor to be compared.
They're going to be so scary, dude. I'm so excited.
Did you see the picture that I posted earlier?
No, my don't get very good service. Let me see if I can pull it up.
The best. Do you remember White Men Can't Jump? So it was Wesley Snipes and what was his name? I can't think of it. Long story short, Debo and McCaffrey are going to be Wesley Snipes and whoever the white guy was from White Men Can't Jump. Just look at the two. Just look at the two main characters of that movie and tell me I'm wrong on that. And I saw that this morning, and I about spit out my coffee at work. I thought it was absolutely. I might be able to actually pull it up.
See if you can. Did you post it in our chat?
I don't think I posted it in chat. It's on. It's probably on one of the other things.
Okay.
All right, here. I'll pull it up on my Facebook.
Okay.
Oh, fuck, I can't share it.
No.
Hold on.
Let me see.
Copy. Let me see. Let's see. Can people see this?
They're going to be so much fun. Like, I feel really bad for Deep.
If you can copy paste that, I only got one screen, people. I'm working. I don't have dual screen, so I can't share it.
I don't think I could actually post that. Hold on.
It goes to my personal Facebook. I don't give a damn if anybody sees it.
I can't.
Or can I put it in chat and you download it in our? Yeah, I'll put it in chat and see if you can download the picture.
Okay, yeah, do that. That might be a little bit easier.
Because I got you on Facebook. There.
Yeah. Let's see.
To me, it's the funniest picture of all time. Like I said, I legit spit out my coffee laughing so hard when I saw this picture.
Let's see if I go this way so it doesn't.
I really need.
Let's see if I can share it. That's going to be the question. Can I share?
Or just download it to your desktop and then just put it up in the thing. I think.
I got it. Haha.
Woody Harrelson. Thank you very much. I'm sorry, I could not remember that man's name. But
yeah,
I'm sorry.
That is
the funniest shit.
That is. He even has Debo energy. Like I just feel it. He does.
It's great. It's like I said. Spit coffee all over my desk at work. Didn't give a damn. Thought it was too damn funny.
That is pretty funny. Oh man.
Right. Yeah, I can't believe I couldn't think it was Woody Harrelson. It's been so. Now I want to go watch that movie. I haven't seen that movie in years.
Oh man, that's funny. Alrighty.
The Funga Pig is like the zoo. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. All right, we got a few more things to go through, guys. I know this might be a little bit of a longer show.
Well, there was a lot to talk about.
there's a lot to talk about, even though we've really only talked about the Christian McCaffrey.
Yeah, we've talked shit about the rest of the. We might play a game on Sunday for all we know.
Yeah. All right. We'll try to get through these next few. Next two is we'll try to speed through this next two so we can talk about the game Sunday. All right. Here's Shanahan on an injury before the game.
All right. Injuries, guys. Armstead will be out. Mooney will be questionable. Huff will be questionable. All right. Injuries, guys.
All right. So Armstead is still out. Really hoping his foot thing gets better. It sucks. Yeah. I didn't realize Huff was injured.
Concussions. He was okay. He was okay during the game, but I guess, and I didn't realize there was another. You have to pass another test Monday morning or the next day after you play. And apparently he had symptoms Monday morning when he came to the practice facility. So that's where it was. So I'm guessing it's probably going to be something like a headache, a little dizzy or something along those lines. So, like I said, he had that Monday morning and then he got put back into the protocols. But from everything I've read, him and Mooney are both trending towards being ready. And I don't think we keep Mooney off the field at all come Sunday.
Okay. And I believe I saw something in our chat where one of our guys saw that Trent Williams is off the injury report. Is that correct?
Both the tackles actually practiced. Both McGlinchey and Williams were practicing today.
That's good.
Yeah, I mean, like I said, it's almost crazy timing. We're getting McCaffrey. Then all of a sudden, from last week, how many people were we down last week? Now all of a sudden, magically, all these people are coming back. Bosa hasn't had any, a setback or anything. So it's almost like it was done like, hey, screw the Falcons. We'll take this game. We need to beat the Chiefs. It almost has that kind of a feel for it. What's wrong with Armstead? He has I could never say this word.
Fasciitis?
Closer than what I would have gotten. I can't say it when I'm sober.
Basically, he has condition. The only reason I know this is because I know somebody who has it. He has a pain in his foot because a muscle, I believe, tore in his foot.
Flat-footed, isn't it? Because you're flat-footed?
That I don't know.
Oh.
It just something tore in his foot. I don't know if it's a muscle or a ligament or what it is exactly. But it's very painful, very hard to even just walk on. So that's probably why he's not playing. And honestly, these things are kind of hard to heal. So I would just keep your ears out, listen for anything. But I mean, I would like for him to play, but these things are tricky. So. And
to follow your question, Jameson, it's almost like a hamstring. It's really hard to tell when he's going to be back able to play again. Mm-hmm. My guess is after the bye. We just need to rest him as much as possible. I've never had it, but I know it hurts. It's just like a hamstring. You just have to rest it. And if you come back too soon, you're just going to make it worse and you're going to be out even longer. So you just got to kind of hang out and wait for it to do itself. Like Ndamukong Suh, I hate the man, but I wouldn't be against the signing. I can't stand the Ndamukong Suh. But he's a damn good – he'd be good for the time being.
Yeah. I'm ready. Here's the next one. Shanahan on Huff.
Yeah, he's got to pass one other step tomorrow.
Basically, just have to pass one more concussion test. So hopefully he does. He said he's trending towards playing, which is good.
Yeah.
So just keep your eyes out on the socials, see what they say. Hopefully he does. But
if he passes, I will definitely post it.
Yeah. Alrighty. Here's Shanahan on Jason Verrett.
Verrett won't be up this week. We had to make a decision next week. He's still the same. He's in a man. Verrett won't be up this week. We had to make a decision next.
Basically him saying that Jason's not going to, Verrett's not going to be playing this week, which is honestly probably for the best. I would love for him to play, but I'd rather him get warmed up and get back into shape and get him back ready to play than rush him back.
I'm starting to think he's going to be after the bye.
That's possible.
We're gonna push it as long as we can until after the bye, because quote, if we were to lose the next 2 games, we lose to the Chiefs, non-conference, it doesn't matter, quote unquote, because it's a non-conference, so division standings or conference standings, it doesn't really affect much, for the most part. And then say we lose to the Rams, we split 1-1. So, and obviously I'm not saying I think we're going to lose those games, but if we can kind of push him until after the bye, then he's healthy for the rest of it, I'm willing to take that risk or that shot, however you want to put it. Excuse me.
Mm-hmm.
Same thing with Armstead. If we go 1-1 these next 2 weeks, and then we get everybody back going into the long stretch where we're not going to be playing the top tier teams for the most part, that's when we need to start making a run for getting positions come playoffs.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. This is a good question. Don't they have to activate him by next week or lose him for the year?
I believe so. I don't know that for sure. I'd have to actually look into it, but I believe that's correct, which means that he just takes up a roster spot from somebody.
Alrighty. We will see. I believe that's what Kyle was mentioning, that he has to make a decision.
Yeah, I think a final decision has to be made next week.
Yeah, so they're just trying to see how he's feeling. Alrighty. Here's next 3 are going to be Shanahan on Christian McCaffrey.
Do you want to go through all 3 of them?
Yeah, let's just play all 3 of them real quick.
He didn't get any. He came out like halfway through practice, so he just got loose. Watched it all, and then our coaches stayed with him after just to get a small workout in and teach him a few things. He didn't get any. Just talking to him, like where he would be in the offense and stuff. I got to talk to the other coaches. I mean, this happened last night. It's not like everyone knew it was happening, so it factors in his special teams, who he can get up, who's down. There's no way he could be ready to. Anyone can get up and have a limited package, but what happens with an injury and stuff when someone has to go in and do everything, and those are the things we got to really think through. I don't think there's anything you can't do. Just whether it's in the pass game, the run game, blocking. I think he's a very talented player, and just watching how he plays, he's a very smart player. He always gets to the right hole. It's very smooth, and he's seen that at every level he's played in. Alrighty.
So most of that, pretty much basically saying he did a little bit of workout, not even like a full practice, but just a small workout when he was there today.
He basically did this.
Yeah, basically. Checking in, talking to the coaches, getting acquainted with everybody over here. He is probably not going to be playing on Sunday.
No, I think he's going to play.
You do?
I think we're going to get him out there. He's going to have a very limited. It's going to be run right, run left, run up the middle, but I do think he'll probably be out there. I would guess 15 plays, but it's going to be a very basic package for him for the most part. Like I said, it's going to be run left, run right, or run up the middle. But he is going to get in, and I'm really excited to see if we get him in there, especially when it comes to like the red zone kind of stuff. But I would put money on he gets in the game on Sunday without a doubt.
Okay. And then Kyle goes on about. Go ahead.
I'll say he's too good not to play. He doesn't need the full playbook. He's just like, look, man, here I'm going to hand it off to you. Go.
That's true. And here is Shanahan on what excites. And we already went through this one, but Shanahan, what excites him is just how talented he is, and how he's going to be able to use him in his offense, which we kind of talked about throughout the whole show. So, yeah, I mean, got a new running back, very talented running back. It's going to be exciting. You ready to preview the game for this week, and then we'll get out of here?
Before we do that, let me do a quick things for McCaffrey. He obviously was the number 8 pick in the 2017 draft. His salary is a little high when it comes to a running back. It goes until 2025. It's roughly about $12 million a year, which again is a little high for a running back, but at the same time, not guaranteed. Say for some reason he gets injured this year or next year, we cut him. It's not guaranteed. funny, the contract actually goes until 2025, which is also the same time that both Kyle and Lynch's contracts expire as well. So I think if you notice, a lot of these contracts go, and I think it's just a just in case scenario. Say for some reason it goes tits up until the end of that. It's just everything stops it there, and we can start fresh come 2025.
Interesting. Okay.
No trade clause in his contract. So he actually, lifted that clause to come to the Niners. Probably, honestly, had it been us or the Rams, he probably would have lifted it for either team. Maybe even the Bills. There's a lot of talk of the Bills being interested in him as well. So far this year, he is at rushing 393 yards and 2 touchdowns. Obviously, leading the Panthers in that. He actually led the Panthers in receiving as well. And I'm not sure what this is for last week. I didn't look to see what DJ Moore had. Obviously, Robbie Anderson has been traded to the Cardinals. He had 287 yards, and at the time he was leading it. Like I said, I don't know if it's updated. So again, it shows the versatility of him being the most versatile, best weapon that they had on their offense. He is going to be at Levi's. His best game, obviously, he was a Stanford player. In Stanford, came in the 2015 Rose Bowl versus USC, which was played at Levi's, where he had a total of 461 yards combined. He played his ass off. So he's very familiar with that stadium.
Cool.
Hey, Jaymie, thank you very much, man. I know you're probably going to be headed over to Sickness's podcast. I'm probably going to jump over there when we are done eventually and kick it with you guys over there. So, yeah, thank you very much, brother.
Thank you so much for coming into and watching us and hanging out. It's awesome. Yeah, I'm so excited, though. It's going to be it's so exciting.
I will say this. If you guys are going to be here for this one, Niners Sickness podcast with Beto, awesome guy, does great content. I've been on there before. I don't think TJ's been on there. Not sure if you've been on there. We have an open invite basically to him. We just got to get it worked out to where we can, because we all love his show. He loves our show. So we definitely got to get together and do it. When I go down to Cali for the Dolphins game, I think I'm going to try and get up with him and do something with him.
Okay.
Teresa, thanks for my decaf comment. Hey, I want to make a shirt off of that decaf comment because that shit was great. Thank you very much, Teresa. Come back. And then Jameson. Hey, you know what, Jameson? Hit me up in the DMs on Instagram, Facebook, whatever. I'm the one that runs all that. We'll see how things run. I talk to everybody about that, but yeah.
Cool.
So, preview for next week?
Yeah, let's go for the preview. We are playing the Chiefs, which is going to be an interesting game. I knew we played the AFC West this year. I don't know why. I just kind of forgot. And then there's so Chiefs. I know.
And we should have beat the Broncos. For fuck's sakes, we should have beat the Broncos.
I know.
It's terrible.
Listen, my cousin's a Chargers fan, so he's waiting for when we play them in a couple of weeks. So that's the one he's excited about. But it's gonna be a tough game, guys. It's not gonna be like the Falcons or the Panthers. It's gonna be a tougher game for sure. I think this is gonna be the game where we're gonna really find out where the Niners are at. I feel like so talent-wise and whatnot.
The thing with the Chiefs I've noticed this year is that the Chiefs are the Chiefs are like a train. It starts out slow. And if you can, it's almost like you have to get ahead of the Chiefs. And then once they catch steam, you got to kind of just hold them from catching up to you. So it's like they just take time to get rolling. But once they get rolling, they roll hard. Like I said, so it's almost like you got to get out to a quick start against them and just hope you can suppress the rest of the game getting up there. The decaf comment was from Teresa, Debo, and Caffrey. Got them together, decaf. That's where that came from. Vito, what's up, brother? Hey, hopefully it's just you that can't hear us because I think everybody else has been hearing from us. Oh, it was on his side. Thank you for joining,
Okay.
brother.
Thank you.
I was just talking about you.
Yeah, it's going to be I don't know. I'm not going to lie, I'm a little nervous for this game. Every play of the Chiefs, it's I don't know. I always get a little bit nervous, and I think it's just from that Super Bowl a few years ago. Just
yeah. I never disliked the Chiefs until that game.
Same, to be honest with you. Same.
I've got a lot of friends who are actually Chiefs fans. They live out in Kansas City. It's like I never disliked you guys. Now I can't stand you.
How is Patrick Mahomes doing this year? That I haven't.
He's Patrick Mahomes. He's still doing Patrick
Same.
Mahomes type things, running around, throwing touchdowns everywhere. I mean, I forget who they played 2 weeks ago, but Travis Kelce had like 4 touchdowns, but he only caught 25. It was only 25 yards. Everything came within the 10 yards. It was ridiculous.
Okay. I'd be like, he had how many touchdowns?
It's like 4 touchdowns. It was ridiculous. I'm like, how the hell you got that many touchdowns, but you only caught like 25 yards receiving? It was ridiculous. But I mean, the Chiefs are the Chiefs. They are, still probably the best quick stride offense in the league. Maybe the Bills could hang. Well, the Bills did beat them, but they're still, they're still top end. They've still got a dynamic quarterback and receiving core. Their defense is, still pretty damn good. It's good enough to win them games overall. So, I mean, top 5 team, it's going to be a hard game.
They're still doing – the wide receivers are still good even without Hill. They're still able to – okay.
Yeah. Like I said, they're still a top team overall.
Yeah.
Let's see. What else we got here? We are beating the Chiefs Sunday. I'm not disagreeing with you on that one. Let's see. Bosa. Yep, definitely. Everybody's trending towards playing. The only person so far that I have seen that is definitely not playing is Armstead. Everybody else, for the most part, unless they have some sort of a setback, tomorrow, is playing on Sunday, besides Jason Burnett. There's where Robin last week's Super Bowls. Preach!
Yeah, it's going to be a tough game. If we get everybody back and we just stick to it, I do believe that we can win this game. I'm not that down.
Yeah.
But it's just going to be – this is not a game where I could see either team winning, the thing is we're going to really find out, because if we can hang with the Chiefs, even if we lose, if we hang in with the Chiefs, that's going to make me feel that the Niners are still – because with the Chicago game at the beginning of the year and just kind of in the Broncos game, it would just be nice to kind of see how they are against a team like the Chiefs, at least for me. So,
yeah. I almost wish this game was a little bit later in the season. That way we can see what we have with McCaffrey instead of, like I said, because obviously he's going to be limited with what he can do on Sunday. He's going to have 3 days. And like I said, it's basically going to be run left, run right, run up the middle. I would love to see what it's like, what these two teams, what Shanahan would do against the Chiefs defense if McCaffrey knows the playbook. Then we can see the full extent of what this offense can do, because obviously we're probably not going to see it until after the bye week. The bye week's really going to be when he starts getting all that stuff down. It starts getting implemented with everybody else, because even against the Rams, it's going to be more, but it's not going to be the full effect yet. But like I said, we're going to definitely see signs of that. Maybe we can get, some of those mismatches going with CMC on Sunday, which is obviously what we're hoping for in general. But like I said, it's just going to be the limited amount of plays he has. It's just going to be simple plays, but sometimes those simple plays are the best plays because you don't overthink anything.
Yeah. I've got Kittle and Kelsey both playing, two of the best tight ends in the league. So that'll be fun.
Well, let's be honest. Travis Kelce's not a tight end. Travis Kelce's the wide receiver that has a name or has a designation as tight end. He is not a tight end.
He's something else. The fact that he scored those 4, I haven't played fantasy, so that's why I didn't know he scored 4 touchdowns.
I know it because I have Kelce on my fantasy team.
Oh, nice.
So I have one fantasy league that's a $500 buy-in every year. It's a dynasty league.
Mm-hmm.
And I was down by like 30 points going into that game. And Kelsey pretty much won me that game.
Wow.
So it's just like I said, he's good. It's like calling Kittle a wide receiver, basically. He's not calling Debo or McCaffrey just a running back or a wide receiver. These guys are weapons. Kelsey plays wide receiver. I don't think he lines up in a 3-point stance and blocks anybody the entire damn game. He's pretty much the slot every play for them. He's damn good at it, but he's not a tight end.
Yeah. All right. Anything else that you feel like we should discuss?
Well, between work and everything else with Christian McCaffrey, I haven't gone over my fantasy stuff for the Niners.
Okay.
I would probably say you probably still start Debo.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know what else I would start with. Obviously, I wouldn't start Christian McCaffrey because I know a lot of people have Christian McCaffrey as their starter because, obviously when he was a Panther, he used to eat up so many points and just with carries and receiving yards and stuff like that. He used to get a ton of points. You're going to sit him, obviously, unless you're desperate and you have like a bunch of people on bye.
Right.
Let's see. I wouldn't start Ayuk unless he was. I'd put Ayuk as like a third receiver if you had a big offensive game or offensive league. Same thing with Kittle. I wouldn't do Kittle as a number one unless he was all you had.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see. Jeff Wilson. Because he's still going to get his carries in this game.
Mm-hmm.
So obviously it's not going to jump over to CMC immediately. I'd put Jeff Wilson as a third. Like I said, this is what happens. Like this part of the year when you have buys and stuff like that, I wouldn't put Wilson in unless you had your top two backs, or even depending on matchups and stuff like that. Unless you had somebody on a bye, I wouldn't start Jeff Wilson. The Niners defense, for those of y'all that play with defenses, we don't in our league. It's pure offense. That's why all of us score like 200 points a week. I would, because there's going to be a lot of chances for interceptions with how many times they toss the ball up in the air. No, I wouldn't start the Niners defense just because of that. Okay. And as far as betting goes, haven't looked at it. I'm not even going to lie. If you want to put money on, I think I was talking to a friend of mine a couple days ago, and he wanted to. He was putting money. I think it was $200 straight up on the Niners to win, and that wasn't with a point spread. And I told him he was an idiot for putting that down with all the injuries that we had. But I don't think it's as bad of a bet now, considering we have all these players coming back. Because as the week has gone on, it's gotten better with injuries and players coming back. And then you just add in whatever Christian McCaffrey does. We're going to sprinkle him in. I'm going to say about 20, maybe 25 plays if he gets hot for whatever reason. So I think with just that, they might get a little confused with everything. I would put money down on the Niners winning straight up. I'm not sure. Like I said, I think the last I looked, the spread was 3. Okay. And that's a little iffy. I would betting the over-under is probably closer to 50.
Okay.
I'd push on the 50. That's iffy on that one.
It's going to be a tough game, guys. I could see it either. I don't think it's going to be a blowout in either team's favor. I think it's going to be a close game.
I think it's going to be exciting more than anything else.
Yeah, it's a fun game.
I think because we're, obviously with bringing CMC in, we're not going to see the full extent of everything that he does. But I believe we're just going to get a little sprinkling of what it's going to be going forward with this season.
Yeah. Okay, we got a couple more comments here. What are your thoughts on McCaffrey wearing number 23? We did talk about this earlier, but both of us discussed that if McCaffrey was fine with it, then it should be fine.
I'm not a big person on whatever number you play. I
don't have very many thoughts on it either, but he seems fine with it, so should be okay. This one, Jaymie need to look more excited, girl. I trust me, I am excited. I'm very tired. I just got off work and I stayed up late last night, so because it was a long night last night, so that's why I'm a little bit tired. But trust me, I'm very, very excited. It's going to be an exciting time. We have 2 Devos now. I can't get over that. We have 2 Devos now.
No. We have decaf. Let's get it right.
We have decaf, right? We need to make that a thing.
This got to be a thing.
Because that was genius.
It's funny because exciting as we are, we're calling it decaf. That's just
I know.
Brilliant. Teresa, that is absolutely brilliant. I fucking
For
love
real.
it.
If you're still in here in the chat, that was genius. And then this last one, Jason, I couldn't agree with you more on the Travis Kelce. So yeah. Alrighty, guys. Well, yeah, I had a little bit of a longer show today, so thank you guys for sticking with us. We'll wrap it up here. Kept you guys for an hour talking about McCaffrey and going over stuff for this week. So yeah, follow us on all our social media platforms. We are at Twitter at 9FaithfulR, and we are on Facebook and Instagram at 9Faithful Radio. And I believe if you find us on any of those platforms, you should find the links to all of our other stuff. And we do stream here through Twitch, YouTube. I believe our Twitch is 9Faithful Radio. I believe.
Yep, it is.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And then YouTube is 9Faithful Radio. So we stream here on Tuesdays, Fridays, and of course on Sundays or whenever the games are.
I'm debating doing a Saturday show.
You want to add a Saturday show?
I'm debating doing something on Saturdays. I haven't decided yet.
Okay. That would be fun, though.
I have to talk to the wife. I got to get permission to do that.
Okay. Got to get permission. But yeah, so on game days, our main guy, 905 Radio, TJ, he hosts our pregame show. Jason does the halftime show. And then I do the postgame show. About 9 o'clock for the postgame show for me. Jason does it during halftime. And the pregame show just depends on what time the game starts. So, but if you follow our socials, hour before. Yeah. So just keep up with all our socials. You'll find all of our stuff. And yeah, I guess that is pretty much it. Alrighty, guys. We will let you guys go. Thank you guys for joining us and interacting. It was a lot of fun. And we will see you guys next week or later this week too. Go ahead.
Thank you very much. Bang, bang, Niner Gang.
Bang, bang, Niner Gang. Alrighty.